In this lesson, we're going to work on a project with color to review swatches and strokes. If you'd like to follow along, go under your File menu to Open, and in the Working Files folder, go into Chapter number 13 and select Design a Colorful Flyer, and just click Open. We're going to create 5 Pantone colors from the Color Bridge library. In order to better see what's going on, I'm just going to go to my Zoom tool and click and drag across the top part of my page with my Zoom tool. And now select the square in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to go to my Swatches panel, and I'm going to go under the Options menu to New Color Swatch. And for color mode, instead of CMYK, I'm going to find my library, which is Pantone Plus Color Bridge Coded. And I'm just going to click that library, and we're going to add our colors. I'm going to click in the Pantone CP field, Coded Process, in the Color Bridge library. And I'm going to type in 100. And it goes right to Pantone 100, which is a nice yellow. And I'm going to hit Add because I want to add more than one color. The next color is Pantone Orange. So I'm just going to type in O, and it immediately goes to Pantone Orange 021 CP. And with that selected, I'm going to hit Add, and you can see it adds that to the Swatches panel. I'm going to select my 021, and I want to also add purple. So I'm going to type PUR, and as soon as I do that, it goes to Pantone Purple CP, and I'm going to hit Add. 2 other colors. I want a bluish green, so I'm going to use 327 and hit Add. One last color. I want Pantone Green, so I'm going to type GREE, and it goes right to green, and I'm going to hit OK. But I've also gotten swatches using the following CMYK breakdowns from my client. So I'm going to go back under the Options menu, the Swatches panel, to New Color Swatch, and this time use CMYK. And I'm going to type in different amounts than are already here, which is from the last green that we added. The cyan is 10%. So I'm going to type 10 in the cyan field, hit my Tab key, and then type 98 for magenta, hit my Tab key to go to the next field. And for yellow, it's going to be 93, hit my Tab again, and it's 3 for black. And I'm going to hit Add to add this kind of rusty color. The next color from my client, let me just select my cyan field and type 4. Tab key, 23 for magenta, 100 for yellow, and 0 for black. And hit Add. The last color from my client is 100 cyan, 42 for magenta, yellow is 0, and black is 0. And I'm now done, so I can click OK. The fastest way to apply the colors that we've added to each one of these squares is to select nothing, and just click and drag the swatch to the fill of the object. Go to my next color, and drag it to my next square. Click on the purple and drag it to the next square. Go to the 327 and drag it to the next square. I'm going to go to the Pantone Green and click and drag it to the fill of the first square in the second row. Now I'm going to go to the rusty color and drag it on, and also my golden orange kind of color, and drag it in. And last but not least, the beautiful bright blue to the last square. So we've created and quickly added the colors to each one of our squares. But now let's go down the page a bit, and we have this stroke, which we're going to make into a rather unusual coupon border with a dash. Let's start by adding a color to this stroke. I'm going to go to my swatches panel. Make sure that my stroke is in front by clicking on the stroke icon in the upper left of the panel to bring it in front. And now I'm going to click on the very last swatch, which is the beautiful blue. And let me get my swatches panel out of the way. And we're going to do something really unusual with the stroke. I'm going to go to my stroke panel, and in the type of stroke pop-up, we're going to go all the way down the bottom to dashed. And so we have a default 12-point dash and a gap with nothing in the field, so it's picking up that first field of 12 points. So it's a 12-point dash with a 12-point gap. Now we're going to do something some people would say is absolutely impossible. We're going to do a 12-point dash followed by a 12-point gap in that second field. I'm going to hit my tab key to go to my third field. And I'm going to do something impossible. I'm going to type 0 for the width of the next dash. And hit my tab key and do a gap of 12. And hit enter or return to apply it. Let me zoom in a lot closer so we can see what's going on. We're getting a 12-point dash followed by a 12-point gap, and then really just this thin line that's so thin it won't print. But what is this about? Why am I doing this? Well, let me go back to my selection tool, and we're going to create a very unusual stroke, one with rounded rectangles and circles. Well, how can I do that? Well, if I apply a round cap, watch what happens. I'm getting a rounded rectangle because it's taking my 12-point dash and adding a semicircle to either end. Now, the unusual thing is the 0-point dash. What it's doing is adding a round cap to a dash that doesn't have any width. So if I add a semicircle to either side of a dash with no width, I'm getting a circle. So it's really kind of cool. If it's not working perfectly for you, you can always adjust the corner options to none. And you'll see now it's following my dash and gap pattern right out the window because it's not making any adjustments. So that's really kind of cool. In the next lesson, we'll begin discussing transparency and effects.